Welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's episode 96.
96.
96,
wow.
Faheem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And 96 like straight weeks. No break. Hashtag no break, okay? So, guys, we're so excited for our guest. He's coming from Georgia, from the South. You're going to love his accent, y'all. Love his accent. Faheem, please introduce who we got.
All right. We got somebody who's definitely got things covered from baseline to baseline. He's somebody who is going to give us a lot of insight in regards to what he has going on, but also to ongoing topics we got today also. So I'm very flattered to welcome Derek Williams II to the podcast today.
Derek.
I appreciate y'all.
Derek.
You know, Nelly, I wish you would have told me that you was gonna sing. You know, we could have did a 3-part harmony of the Good Rookies. You know, I wanted to, try out my newfound falsetto. You know, I don't know how good it is, but I could have did me a little Good Rookies. A little bit with it. Just a little bit.
Yo, another falsetto.
And the falsetto, you got to do a little falsetto. I could do a little baritone, maybe with some bass or something. But
oh my goodness, you know what? I'm laughing because you're someone that is always someone that has drops gems. Like, you always know knowledge, but also we share a common interest, Derek. We are both fans of the Denver Broncos, so we both get roasted by a lot of these haters of the Broncos. So thank you for always having my back, especially in Clubhouse when certain people try to come at us. You know what I'm saying? So big up to you.
You know what? And now, I forgot about that, even though I know it, like when you come in the rooms and things, like I know that. But when we have a break, I'm gonna switch to the Broncos hat. I got like 20 of them, but as we do segments, I'm just gonna switch different Broncos hats as we go through, so they know it's real.
They know it's a real thing. Understand? No, but it's true. So before we jump into the hot topic, I have a quick question for you, right? You're from Georgia, you rep Atlanta, and I feel like y'all have won a lot of stuff. Like, again, another city, Faheem, that doesn't really get recognition, but you guys have pretty much won in every sport. Maybe not hockey, but you've won.
Not football. They don't win football.
Well, football, they've made it far, but I would say college. Maybe college football, they do
Go
pretty
Dogs.
well.
Go Dogs. I mean, we finally got one after 40 years.
You know what I mean?
Go Dogs.
And then in the Braves won, So
we got the Braves. I mean, we had a good
pretty good sports year. So I would say which Atlanta team has the most like fan base, like in your city? Because I feel like every team is quite strong. I would say the least is probably the Hawks, because I heard Hawks games
Lisa would definitely, I would say, would be the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
It's neck and neck, and I can't speak from a complete educated standpoint,
of course,
because I'm not a fan of the Hawks. Ever since they traded Dominique Wilkins for Danny Manning, I've hated the Hawks ever since. I'm a Braves fan. I'm a Braves fan, true and true. So I would tell you the Braves is number one, and I would say probably the Falcons is a close second. Okay. But during the football season, there's so many Falcons fans, so I would say Braves and Falcons are probably neck and neck. Mm-hmm. But the Braves win more than the Falcons do, so it's a little bit more to be happy about. The Falcons, if you see a Falcons fan, it's by the time you get to like October, November, all of them on suicide watch. They're drunk, and then the crimes in the city go up because they always fight, because we have a huge New Orleans presence in Atlanta as well.
Interesting.
And so New Orleans and Atlanta's big rivals. They're huge rivals. That's the number one rivalry. And New Orleans, every time, it's not a rivalry because New Orleans wins more now than Atlanta does. And so you ought to see the New Orleans people when they're beating the Falcons here and they're doing their second lines on the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and talking these stuff all over the city. But I would tell you goes neck and neck between the Braves and the Falcons.
That's good to know. So anyone wanting to know about Atlanta teams, there you go, Braves and Falcons. What's up, Faheem? What you got for that?
Derek, anyone ever mentioned the Atlanta United?
You know what? I think there's more a cultural thing, Faheem.
Right.
And so now if you go to Atlanta United game, like it's lit, like it's, man, the energy and the excitement. But culturally, just being, just a Black American, soccer is not our sport.
Right.
And so even though it's the world sport, but it's not really our sport, but the games are packed. But we have Atlanta's a huge melting pot. So we have a huge, Caribbean presence. We have a huge Latin American presence, Mexican presence, Puerto Rican, and all the places that play soccer. Like, man, right where I live, man, they go and turn the tennis court to a soccer court. Soccer is huge. And so it's a huge deal, but no, they're not going to really mention Atlanta United. Like, you having an argument, it's going to be Hawks, Falcons, Braves, even though Atlanta United broke the streak of winning the championship like 2 or 3 years ago. But they're just there.
And that's what I was asking, because Atlanta United, apparently their attendance is really good for MLS standards. And so I was wondering, and you're right, it all comes down to demographics where you are. Just wondering in your circles if anybody has mentioned a United game at all, because I'm pretty sure their attendance is probably even more than the Hawks and maybe some of the others, right? So that's why I just asked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because too, they're playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so the capacity, seating capacity, and everything. The Falcons games are packed too. But United, like Atlanta United, like they sell tickets, but like I say, you got a huge demographic here for it. Like, Atlanta is a perfect city to be able to have soccer, based on the demographics here. So now it's perfect.
Nice,
interesting.
So we have, do you follow high school basketball very much, Derek?
Absolutely, man. Especially in Georgia, we, I would tell you, we probably got the best high school basketball scene. People might say California, but
or Texas. I've heard Texas is big too.
Texas is big. But when you start looking at these kids coming out, man, they coming out of Georgia, man. We popping them out.
Right.
LA is king. They're huge. They're bigger, way bigger than us. But we're king down here. So yeah, I follow high school basketball.
So Overtime Elite, the league for high school players, has given them an opportunity to play and like bypass going and playing in the NCAA, or maybe overseas, or playing in the G League. It's just another outlet for these high school players. They've actually made a big stride there's a tournament that it's the TBT Tournament. It pays $1 million, happens every year. And this is the first year that they're actually incorporating high school players to play, and it's going to be top 10 players. So there's 2 players in particular, Amin and Usar Thompson, the twins. They're playing. So they're high school players playing in this tournament, the TBT Tournament, which is for $1 million, which I find very interesting, just due to the fact that right now it's about disruption, and a lot of the normal channels it's changed now. It's a new day. And it's really interesting to see that now. First of all, Overtime, the league is doing amazing things, but see that now they're pushing the boundaries. And with the whole, player likeness now, or high school NILs, exactly, things like that. It's just another option where it's making it open to players making money and not being penalized, right? So thought, what you got with that, Derek?
Well, I with the Overtime Elite and them playing in the TBT, shout out to my brother. I know it's not shout out time, but my brother Cam Tatum.
It's always shout out time. Anytime you need it.
Shout out. I appreciate it. But he's played in a few TBT tournaments, and has been on ESPN with them with the Tennessee Volunteers. My brother played at Tennessee. Shout out to my bro Cam. But I think it's a good thing that they're actually playing, and it's not more so about the money. They have to win it to get the money. Okay. And so it's not a money deal. I like it because it's going to give them the exposure to other players and other types of players, because now they're about to go in and play a lot of older guys, the guys that are probably, been out the league for a minute, but they still they can think the game. They're probably going to be a little more physical, be able to use their body in a different way. So now these players, they're not just doing the ISO skill sets that they're learning now based on how the NBA is set up, and they're already skipping college, so they're not going to get a lot of the IQ development, because the NBA don't run the same sets that college basketball runs, and so now they get to really just go against some guys that's going to probably be a little more physical with them, because me being 18, Neil being 18, we don't know what's physical or not Kids don't play in the summer anymore. They really don't play in the leagues. They're just AAU tournaments, and then they go with their trainer. Where growing up, we used to be outside. Like right now, it's 100 degrees here in Atlanta. Heat index at 108. We would still be outside playing basketball. That don't exist anymore. Kids don't go outside anymore. And so to really be able to play with these older guys, some of these great veterans, great guys that made a name in college, some made a name in the NBA, probably touched the league, and for them to be around those guys and be able to bang with those guys and really compete, because when you put $1 million on the line, you're getting some best shots. This is just not, hey man, we're trying to make it to the league, so don't hurt me. It's like, no, it's $1 million on the line, and it's gonna be an older guy that can really use that $1 million. He's gonna come at this high school kid as a man, because these high school kids are not really playing grown guys like we used to growing up. So, I want to see how these kids respond. I think it's going to be a great mental test. Can they lock in on the target? Can they compete? Can they compete as a team? And just really looking at that goal. And I think it's no bigger goal. Like, hey, you can get an NBA trophy, but the opportunity to play for $1 million, even though it's broken down, man, I think that's a huge carrot. And I want to see how these guys respond to be able to compete for that carrot. So I think it's a great thing.
So I just want to mention, you mentioned old players that are in there. So a lot the players that old NBA players that seem to be in there maybe had a better college career than an NBA career, but they still were good enough to make the elite playing in the NBA. Names like Zaire Smith, Antonio Blakely, O'Malley Spellman, who else here? CJ Miles,
you got CJ
Ennis. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking, these are guys that, they've done their stint in the NBA. So it's good to see. Nelly J.
Yeah, no, I think Derek made a great point, especially around the fact that they're going to be playing with more physicality. And for an 18-year-old, the way they play in high school, I think is great for development. Like even if they don't win this tournament, I think only 64 teams qualify. The fact that overtime even qualified, the team actually qualified for this, that's a big step, because it's $1 million. And I'm sure, Derek, you're in the States. I could imagine how many teams try to even make it right into this tournament and get rejected, right? Only 64 can make it across the country. So that's a big step up from OTE, who just started their league when? A year? Was it 2 years ago, Faheem? I remember I was talking about it when it first started a year ago.
Yeah.
So they made a big leap into it. Now, Derek, your thoughts on, with high school players, do you think we're going to see more, maybe like AAU teams try to play in more of these adult type tournaments to develop their players? Or is this just a one-time thing that OTE is going to do? Or will this be a trend where we're going to see a lot more high schools or high school programs try to compete or at least get experience with more adult players? Because like Luka played with grown men all his life, and we can see that it helped him in the NBA. So your thoughts on that entire ideology?
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to happen. I think overtime elite is different, because overtime elite is giving these kids an opportunity to bypass college, and the NBA is starting to do that with the G League, is saying, hey, we really want to be able to get these kids out of high school, but we put in this one and done rule to be able to make sure these kids go to college. Unlike Europe, I think it's the politics in the United States, it's the politics of our education system, to where, in Europe, anything, the quickest way between point A and point B is a straight line. So these kids are already being identified that they're going to be a basketball player. So they can go and start developing these kids at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And as we know, as we found out, is that the big clubs, the adult clubs, they bring in the younger guys and put them in the clubs, and they raise them up within the club. They're in the same club.
That happens in Europe. Yeah.
And it happens, right? Because these kids are not trying to go and be a doctor. They're not trying to go be a lawyer. So you don't hear them say, well, we about to go and study and do this, and then I got to maintain a 3.0. Like, we don't know what Luka's GPA is. We don't know if Luka learned this, or you're not going to tie him or attach him to a college or anything. We're never going to say, hey, Luka, if basketball don't work, what is your plan B? Hey, Giannis, if basketball don't work, what is your plan B? So when we talk about these guys, they don't have to balance education with sports and entertainment. All right, it's just sports for them. Over here, it's a balance between your education and being a basketball or football player or whatever. So you got to make a choice. So to be able to get to the best schools. So let's talk about Duke. Duke is a prestigious university. You got to be able to qualify to get into Duke, right? Mm-hmm. So just imagine how many guys that probably could have went to Duke but couldn't qualify to go to Duke or Notre Dame.
So pause there, Derek. Pause there, mm-hmm. right? That's why I'm saying programs like OTE and other because I think the reason why that was the case because the NCAA is a business. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
And they're a multi-billion-dollar business. Now we're seeing programs outside of it giving high school students another option of not entering a draft. They can go to OT. I think Ignite. There's other options now that they can do outside of just the NCAA. So what I mean by that is that, so are we going to see more high school players saying no college? I'm going to go straight to the OTE or even maybe clubs that will help them develop into the NBA. You know what I mean?
I think the NBA is going to eventually back off that one and done rule. I think that's what it's ultimately going to do. Because now you got the overtime release, and I think that helps. You still, like you say, you see in the G League now, but the NBA is going to back off of it, and because now if a kid don't want to go to college, it don't make sense for him to take up a scholarship for somebody that probably want to go and probably want to stay 2 or 3 years, and that really needs to develop. Because when we're looking at a lot of these guys that probably went number 1 or probably top 5 of lottery, most of these guys are one and done guys. You know, we had an argument in our room about this, and I'm like, once these guys are pegged and they're all American, 80% of them, they're just going to school as a formality. The biggest thing with college is they just can't mess it up. You just can't do nothing egregious enough to mess it up. Kyrie Irving played 10 or 11 games. He didn't need college. Now, he probably wouldn't have went number 1, but he was going to be a lottery pick. John Wall did not have to go to college. He probably wasn't going to go number 1, but he didn't have to go, right? And so once these guys are paid, college is just that. So, yeah, they need more outlets, but I think NBA just needs to back up off of it, because if the NBA allowed these kids to go ahead and go, then you wouldn't need all this other stuff. And now the kids can really go and develop in college, like your Draymond Greens who did 3 or 4 years, or your Steph Curry who did 3 and 4 years, or, you know, those guys that you can say, man, you became some in 3 or 4 years versus the guys that are ready. Because, Janelle, I might be a good fit for Duke, but I'm not going to go to Duke because Faheem is going to go there, but he ain't going to go there but for 1 year, you know. But now I got a transfer port. I might can sneak my way back in later on. But no, let the high school kids that are ready. Some of these guys are ready. They've been trained, you know, and they don't have to do as much. I don't think the NBA game is as cerebral as a college game. And so these kids are NBA ready, because all they got to do is ISO and set a pick and pick on a guy and just say, hey, can I beat you one-on-one? There's no sets in NBA. Like watch the finals tomorrow. It's not going to be a set ran. Golden State run sets. But Boston just gonna say who's Steph Curry guard. Let's pick. All right, set the screen. I want Steph. Okay, Jason Tatum. I'm gonna go with Steph Curry. And so these guys high school guys are learning ISO basketball now. So I think the NBA is going to eventually have to back off of it. And you know, and I think with LeBron James and want to play with Bronny and what's my guy that plays for Minnesota, the point guard, Patrick Beverly. He said whatever the king wants is going to happen. So if LeBron James want to play with Bronny, I think the NBA is going to back off this rule soon. So I think probably next year, so we'll probably see kids going straight from high school to NBA again.
Hey, prediction, y'all. Derek called it. A good rookies. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I say give it 2 years. It's going to be done.
So actually, I wanted to do a quick shout out since we are talking high school basketball. Shout out to the Run Sports, Randy Holcomb. And also we have
big brother right there. Big brother.
Okay, cool. And we had a writer on here also for them, Patrick.
Pat.
Right. Yeah.
See you, Pat
Mac. Pat and Stats. So yeah, they're definitely
and Ivory did an article about his prediction on the draft. So check out for sure. Was a good read.
Shout out to Ivory as well, man. They brethren. Shout out to Ivory.
And on the Canadian side, we got a big up On Point. They're like a high school. They cover all high school tournaments, men and women, girls and boys. And Canleats is actually a woman. They cover all the female girl basketball high school players, especially when they're selecting selecting their NCAA. We've had a lot. I think about 12 girls have selected into the NCAA next season division. So yeah, we got a lot of talent up in Canada too in high school. So
Shout out to Andrew Wiggins, representing.
Hello.
Hey, shout out to Andrew Wiggins.
Maple Jordan, they call him.
hey, shout out to Andrew.
Who knows?
Wiggins.
But who knows? By next week Tuesday, they could, because this is coming out next Tuesday. They could be champion. Andrew could have a ring, y'all. Let's see.
Andrew might can slip in and get a Finals MVP as well.
Oh, we're not gonna go there. No. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there tonight.
Hey, we seen Kawhi still won like that, and we seen Andre Iguodala still won like that. I'm just saying,
it's true. We have seen it. But Steph's numbers are insane. Like insane.
He had one off game. I don't think
one off game, but he's averaging like 32 or something crazy. So I really think Andrew has played, like, they call it, like, both ends exceptionally well. And he stepped up when Steph needed him. But the first the first 4 games, Steph was integral to this team. You know what I mean? So
I get you. But these last 2, you got Steph.
The last 2
one of those games in a lap now, and that Andrew Wiggins 16 and 17
that was crazy.
All right, well, let's see how that plays out. But someone I definitely want to shout out is, you know what, Nelly, let's go for the culture.
For the culture, we get to highlight individuals and people for the culture. And today we get to highlight Derek Williams II, y'all. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's a co-host of the 94 Feet podcast. That's the logo right behind him. Also VP of Checkmate Sports, owner of Williams and Associates. And he's played, of course, at Tucker High, coach at Hillgrove High School. This man is a many talent, and he's still playing today. He still plays ball today, y'all. He's just
ball.
He's doing it all. So Derek, we're so excited to highlight you for the culture, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, Nelly, man. I'm great. I can tell you, life has been great. Especially during the pandemic. Still be alive after the crazy pandemic, and to be able to come out on the other side and still things are running smoothly. Just is blessing. Then get to meet great people like you and Faheem. Due to being shut down in an app, Clubhouse app. So yeah, so life is great. Life is great, Nelly. So
well, Derek, I want to definitely highlight you because I think you're someone that, you do so much, but you will never know. Like, it's like you make it look so easy. You make life seem so easy, but you're so busy. So walk us through on the creation of 94 Feet podcast, the meaning behind the name, if those who don't know, as well as who do you co-host that podcast with? Okay,
so with the 94 Feet podcast, man, I got to shout out my brother Cam Tatum. So for those of you who don't know Cam Tatum, he has a Wikipedia page. That's my bro. He came to me last year and he was saying, "Hey, bro, I want to start my podcast, and I want you to be my co-host." And so it was not originally supposed to be me to be the co-host. It was another guy, Wesley Witherspoon. Great guy, played University of Memphis. Also played played for the San Antonio Spurs. He was supposed to be the co-host, man. Amazing personality and everything. But his schedule just was busy because he also coached high school basketball as well. So you ever heard of the Witherspoon brothers out of Atlanta? Anybody in Atlanta ever watched this out of Berkmore High School? It's 3 brothers, phenomenal basketball players. One brother played at Virginia Tech as well. Phenomenal, man. Great personalities. And we actually did a podcast with them as well. And so Cam really wanted to do the podcast to really highlight Georgia high school basketball because we have so much talent to come out of Georgia, and a lot of guys that you may know about, like your Marshawn Brooks of the world. Shout out Tucker High School, Marshawn Brooks of the world. But everybody knows Lou Williams. Of course, y'all know Lou Williams. In Toronto, Drake made the song Six Man about him. Lemon Pepper Lou. But it's other guys that if you were even talk to Lou Williams or Mike Mercer, they would tell you, like, guys like Vincent Banks, man. Vincent Banks to me is the best high school player I've ever seen in my life. Amazing, but he did not make it out. And so it's so many guys in Georgia that just did not make it out that we just really wanted to highlight and be able to, talk to, like Glenn Rice Jr. and all those guys from there. But from Clubhouse, it just exploded to something totally different. But Cam Tatum is the brainchild of 94 feet. And then we end up bringing our brothers in. Nelly, you come in there. I argue with Jamal McKenzie all day long. That's my big brother. Godfather to my daughter, man. Even though I hate him on the app, I love him to death. He's been a very a pillar on 94 feet. Justin Ravenel, came out of Green Forest High School, state champion. Also played at FAMU. Also has one of the top, I want to say is the top 23-point made season in NCAA history. He had 100 threes made. I mean, it's two seasons in a row. Played overseas as well, but end up going to the corporate force, man, doing a great job in that. And then also we brought my dad in as well in 94 feet. So Pops does a lot with the Clubhouse as well. So if you ever go in there, Derek Williams Senior Pops, he does a lot with the 94 feet podcast as well. So those are the pillars. And then we have, shout out to everybody that come and supported Nelly. Definitely appreciate you for popping in there. Rand, former NBA player as well. Dane, scout for the Phoenix Suns, who got Smooth out of Boston, Mr. Greg, that come out of Boston, and so we just have a great nucleus and core. So many people that come through and support. So if I miss your name, please don't take it to heart.
Don't take it personal, y'all.
Please don't take it personal.
Yes.
But that 94 feet was the brainchild of Cameron Tatum, and 94 feet just represents the dimension. So if unlike FIBA, we on a feet system. And so it's 94 feet, man, from baseline to baseline. And so unlike FIBA that use meters, we use feet. So 94 feet podcast, Cam Tatum's brainchild. He just let his big brother, man, just take it, and do a little something with it.
No, I love that. And we're definitely going to have links to your YouTube as well, links to your Clubhouse. So those kids who don't know about it, they can join in the debates. I also want to talk about you being VP of Checkmate Sports. Now, you played high school basketball, right? You played in high school, you coached. So how is that? So how did sports help you prepare for the corporate world? I think people don't really look at that transition of an athlete to now being a VP, owner of an association. How did that transition work for you, playing basketball, coaching, and now being in corporate?
So the first thing that, sports does is that, especially when you come in as a player, you have to learn how to be coachable. And it helps you embrace leadership and mentorship, because a lot of times our egos get in the way, and think, especially when you're a teenager, you think you know everything, and then once you become an adult, you feel that you know everything. And so, a lot of times our ego really gets in the way, and we say, I ain't about to do this. I can't take leadership. I can't take direction. And so a lot of times when you're playing sports, if you can't take leadership or direction, you're not going to be successful. So in life, it's people that have been in a journey that know more than you, that have seen things that you have not seen. And so sports, that's the first thing that sports teach you, is how to be coachable. Because someone is trying to show you and teach you how to do something that you may not know how to do, or if you feel that you know how to do it, how to do it better, so you can be the best player you can be, even if you can't see what it is that they see, because they're looking at it from the outside looking in. So a lot of people can't adjust to corporate America because they don't know how to be coachable. Second thing is that in sports is that to be able to learn how to lead, you got to be able to be a follower. You got to be able to follow somebody. And so when you generally come in as a sports, very rarely, especially in high school or anything, you always come in as a freshman. You're a freshman when you come in high school. You're a freshman when you come in college. And when they go to the NBA, you got to be a good rookie, right? Or you're not going to be known, right? And so they put you in positions to where you have to learn how to follow, because once you become a good follower, then you can become a good leader. And so those are just some of the lessons that sports teach you. But then also it breeds in your competition, because sports is always about the survival of the fittest. It's going to be the strongest survive. And, and so it teaches mental toughness. It teaches, not giving up. It teaches going the extra mile, right? It teaches, when you run into that baseline, hey, run through the drill. Don't stop on the drill, because life is going to get hard. Do you stop on life? You can't stop on life. You can stop this drill, but once you quit on a drill, you're going to quit on everything in life, especially when it gets hard. And so the mental toughness aspect of sports, it really plays a huge deal in life. And then also is the camaraderie. You start realizing, team, like you and Faheem, Nelly, y'all a team. And just imagine if you was running this podcast by yourself, it's a little bit more difficult trying to edit, trying to, schedule time, send out emails, cut things. And then sooner or later, you're going to get your sponsorships and things of that nature. It's going to be a lot to handle. You need a team. And so it teaches you how to be a team player, right? And that's something that, people don't realize, that the camaraderie, man, being able to accomplish a goal together. When you come by yourself, it don't feel as well to be able to look left and right. And you know that you just did something great, and be able to look at your fellow man to your left and your right and know that y'all did this forever. So no matter what happens in life, that's a point that you can always go back to and reference. And then the last thing is competition. Sports teach competition. Life, is three things that, I live by, that a guy told me. He said, Derek, first thing you got to understand is that life is not fair. Now, understanding that life is not fair, Nelly, it does not mean that it always have to be unfair to you. Mm-hmm. It's just not fair. All right. It's just not fair. Okay. But it's cool that it's not fair, because if I do more, I don't think that you should get the same share that I get if I do more. I just believe in that. Right. So if I outwork you and I do things, I feel like I should get a equal share. Life is not fair, but it don't always have to be unfair to you. The second thing they always told me is that the law does not apply equally to everybody. So you can't get bent out of shape when things are not handled towards you like it's handled towards everybody else. It's not handled equally by everybody. But with the most profound thing that he told me was that it's not always about what you know, but who you know. Because you can know a lot, but it can be one phone call that can change the game for you because you know somebody. And so those are just some of the principles. And so once you come there, hard work is going to get you a lot of places. Competition is going to get you a lot of places, but also being coached, being able to learn and be able to apply those things to your life. And I think that's a lot of things that sports teach you.
I love it. Love it. Oh my gosh. And y'all, if you haven't noticed, Derek changed his Broncos hat.
God bless all the stepdaddies, Russell Wilson.
See, Faheem, I got it from Derek about blessed to the stepdaddies.
God bless all the stepdaddies.
So talk about Checkmate, VP of Checkmate Sports, and how you got into that. And then, of course, I'll pass the mic over to Faheem.
Okay, another hat change real fast. This is the Orange Crush color rush hat right here. They think it's a game, Nelly. We're about to win another Super Bowl. But Checkmate Sports, another brainchild of one of my great friends, Edward Davis, NFL PA registered agent, NBA PA registered agent. He came up with the brainchild of Checkmate Sports, and he wanted to be an agent. Actually, he did insurance and investment with myself, and all of us have passions for sports. And then he realized that you did not need a college degree to become a sports agent. And he was saying it, man, about 3 years ago. He said, Derek, sooner or later, man, they're going to let the NIL, which stands for name, image, and likeness, they're going to allow this to be able to come into the forefront, which now you're going to have more players than ever. And CAA and Clutch Sports and all these guys are not going to be able to represent everybody. Of course, they're going to get the top of the top, but they're not going to be able to get everybody that's involved in the NCAA and things of that nature. And we ain't negotiating contracts. All we're doing is NIL deals, and all these kids are working from their phones and doing appearance. He said, Derek, it's going to be crazy. And he enlisted me and called me because he knew I had a sales background. He knew I could train people and develop people and teach them how to sell and, verbiage and things of that nature. And he brought me in and, I studied this thing, NIL, I know it backwards and forwards, and pretty much how do these things work, but also be able to help other people become sports agents, because now we're seeing now that parents are involved. A lot of parents are involved in their kids' deals, right? But now just imagine, Faheem, if I came to you, you got a son right now, and I can say, hey, Faheem, listen, I know you're very involved with your son. He's about to go to college. And I know your biggest fear, Faheem, is that you don't want anybody to take advantage or be able to mismanage your son. And I know you feel that way. And, Faheem, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody has the more vested interest in your son than you. Am I wrong for assuming that?
That's a fair assumption, right?
Okay. So Faheem, how about we do this? We're going to partner together, and I'm going to help you become a licensed sports agent. And that way you can represent and oversee the day-to-day operations of your son. And we're going to partner together. And that way, listen, we'll just be able to split things down the middle. And that way, and you can still be able to be hands-on with your son. And we're going to be able to use your relationship with your son and my experience. And we're going to combine them together and make sure that everything's fine. How do you like that idea?
Sounds great.
Checkmate. Checkmate.
How checkmate, right? Is that the pitch that you would give to LeVar Ball in hindsight?
Absolutely. I mean, LeVar Ball, he did it, but I think it's instead of trying to sign an agent, our goal at Checkmate Sports is for him is that we don't have to represent your kid. Our goal is that we're going to make everybody a sports agent. Represent your own kid. The big kids are the big kids. They're going to get represented. We ain't trying to fight over, okay, this kid's number one in the nation, number two in the nation. Hey, listen, all the guys are either going to fight for the top kids or the super low hanging fruit. But all the meat in the sandwich is always in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the meat is always the best part. So our goal is, hey, how can we attack the meat? Attack the meat by also, it ain't always about what you know, but who you know. And you know your child better than I know your child. So how about you just represent your child? So right now, Checkmate Sports, man, we can I can't say this factually yet, but I can tell you right now, we've probably have produced the most sports agents since NIL has been produced. I think we've had the most sports agents being produced right now to date than any other sports agency in North America right now. So we don't have the biggest names of players, but we do have a lot of players that we represent based on the concept and the model that we utilize. Nice.
I like the way you've actually taken the NIL and just technology and just made that play that to your advantage. So that's very smart. You're also part of hashtag Squad Up. You want to elaborate on what Squad Up is?
All right, Squad Up, man. Shout out to Squad Up as well, man. I got a lot of great people that allow me to be the leader of. But what we specialize is in insurance and investments. And one of the biggest things that I would tell you more than anything that I'm very passionate about is financial literacy. One of the things that I'm most disappointed about is the people that claim to be financial experts that has been given misinformation for so long. And when you just talk about a race of people, especially here in the United States, I think, a lot of people can identify as a lot of things, but I'm Black. I think everybody can tell, so I can't say I identify with anything else. I could try. Let me see if I put a filter on real fast. But financially, man, we are so behind because we feel that we're playing the same game, but it's different decks. And I try to teach people, listen, the only way that you can beat the system is that you got to become a part of the system. And so many times we try to rise up against the system and say, hey, I want to build another system. No. In the United States of America, Faheem and Nelly, there's only two things that the United States of America understands, and that's money and violence. It's money and violence. Nothing else has been nothing else is like, so when you speak a language, right, you got to understand the people that you're talking to. So United States of America, I don't know if y'all in Canada that you get the same history of the United States of America as we get, right? But the reason that you all are in Canada is somebody from the South escaped and made their way up to Canada. That's why you're there. So you could trace your lineage back to the slave trade of the United States of America and the British, the colonial British and everything else, right? Mm-hmm. And so violence, when you talk about the violence that they have, we didn't beat ourselves. We didn't try to run away from ourselves, right? Mm-hmm, violence. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, people is, even in the Bible, it says that money is the answer to all things, right? And in the United States of America, they understand money. And so as us being, African-Americans and Blacks in the United States of America, we don't understand it. And I like to show people how to understand it. But what the game has done is that the game understands is that, hey, listen, Faheem, I can put you as a part of the money game, and I'm going to put you out there to deceive your own people. And so insurance has been one vehicle that we have been deceived in because we have learned how to, I ain't gonna say learn, we've been told, the wrong types of insurances to buy. I don't know how it really works in Canada, but, you pretty much probably have the same policies like whole life, universal life, cash value policies that you have term. And a lot of people, they like to push what they call permanent policies or cash value policies on it because they tell you that those things are a retirement, and they're not. When you die, you do not get the cash value. And so just real simple, like I can make you all insurance experts in a matter of 2 minutes. Nelly, Faheem, let's say you have a policy on you, right? It's two policies, okay? We got two different policies. Both of them have the exact same face amount. Both of them will pay $150,000 if you die. But one policy you pay for 30, you're going to pay $30 a month. One policy, you're going to pay $100 a month. But both policies, when you die, they're going to pay you $150,000. Which one would you choose?
$30 one?
30.
Did I have to twist your arm for that?
No.
Did I have to put a gun to your head for that?
Nope.
So as people, what we teach people is that, hey, listen, you can get more coverage for less money. But what the industry wants to do is to give you less coverage and make you pay more money out your pocket. So if you're paying more money out your pocket and they get to pay less out of theirs, they win. Our goal is hey, we're going to try to spend less out of our pocket and get them to spend more out of their pocket if we die. Not if we die, when we die. And so that's the game, is that African Americans, we've been sold the high price, low face amount of insurance. So when we die, think about all the people that have died in your family and what they've left you. It's not, and then Black people, we buy insurance. However, the companies only give you enough to where the funeral home man is going to benefit, because once you die, the first place you're going is to the funeral home. So now you got to buy the casket, you got to get the plot in the ground, you got to get embalmed and everything. So if you got $10,000 or $15,000, that's the cost of the funeral. If your policy was $10,000 to $15,000, you didn't leave anything for your family. So now your wife don't have anything. Your kids are not, not financially straight. But for the same amount that you was paying for the $10,000 or $15,000, Nelly, if you died and I made sure your family had $300,000, life looks a little different. We've been sold different things. And then the investment deals here is not a lot of Black, what we call in the United States, registered representatives or investment advisors. Not a lot of Black.
In Canada too, same issue.
They're registered. Yeah. There's not a lot of Blacks that represent us. And so generally our biggest investment advice comes from banks or comes from insurance agents that don't have licenses to invest money. They just try to put you in vehicles to where you can save money. And so our money never really grows. And then to be able to talk to the other guys, they say, hey, Faheem, we can't talk to you unless you got 25 or 200, no, 250,000 because it's not worth my time. It's not too many people, based on our demographics that we can say, hey, they have 250,000. So we just try to make it to where everybody gets the same financial advice. It don't matter if you have $25 or $1 million. The same thing is the same thing, no matter how much money. And a lot of times we've been deceived by banks. So just think about this, Faheem. I don't know, like I say, I don't know much about Canada, but I'm pretty sure y'all get like auto loans and mortgages and things like that the same way, right? So just think about your debt, right? Who do you owe most of your debt to? Credit cards, auto loans? What kind of company is that? The bank, right?
The card, yeah, like
banks, right? Banks, right? If you had to go get financial advice, what would be the first place you think to go? Probably the bank, right?
The bank.
Yeah. So the person that is keeping you in debt is going to be the person you go to get out of debt. So that's the same way as like a slave master, a slave asking a slave master. So master, so tell me, how do I get free? Because banks only make money when you in debt. Yep. And so that's how we get screwed. But in here, like they started indoctrinating the kids, because when you're in kindergarten, they're going to have the bankers in your school at kindergarten talking to you about how to get a savings account that don't pay any interest.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to teach you about checking, and they're teaching kids the wrong thing, but nobody teaches a kid how to invest their money and save for retirement, understanding those things. And so that's one of the biggest problems. So what Squad Up and Williams and Associates, that's one of the biggest things that we do is try to push financial literacy and do it in a way that is simple. If anybody cannot, if you cannot take your financial concept and explain it to a 6-year-old child to where they can understand it, they're trying to screw you. And I stand on that 10 toes down.
94 feet down. Sorry, I had to put the pun in there.
So it's good to see that you're also about not just on the basketball sports side also, but also on the financial literacy. It all ties in because everything with your conversation and what you do is about elevation. So that's why we want to put you for the culture today. So we appreciate, everything that you brought to the table today. Appreciate you. Now let's go to our last segment. That's absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, bro, what was absurd this week? What was absurd?
Not sure how familiar you are with Fake Klay, but Fake Klay, Fake Klay pulled the wool over the security's eyes, was on the court for a short period of time, and was actually banned this time for impersonating Klay Thompson and actually getting away with it. He got a letter from, I guess, Chase Arena and the yacht management laying out the reason why, and he's banned for life. Absurd.
You know what? I got to question Chase Center security. I don't know about you, Faheem and Derek, but I just feel like there's all some security breach happening at this center. Where the people were protesting PETA, whatever, was that Chase? Was that the Jazz?
That was in Memphis. That was Memphis when the girl, Minnesota, I think Minnesota.
Minnesota, I don't know, somebody
Memphis,
it was
both of them.
Yep. And then I remember the security has been questionable throughout this entire NBA playoffs. I don't know what's going on. And the same security at Chase Center was the same security that didn't know Masai was the president of the Raptors. So I gotta question the Chase Center, their security, their personnel. If they listen, again, my theory, right? They thought Masai, they know Masai was a president, chairman of a team. But this light-skinned youth, the guy that barely, the fake Klay, walks in the stadium and no one stops him. Why? Because his complexion? I feel like if fake Klay was a little bit darker, a little bit tinter, I don't know, man, they would have been like, whoa, hold up, right? Because that team is very beige-like. Anyway, but my thing is that it's absurd. And what's absurd even more for him is that this guy has no remorse. He's very happy. He's like, yeah. He's like, it was worth it. So he's banned for life. Derek, what's your thoughts on the Chase Center security at the playoffs and the fact that they didn't know this guy wasn't Klay? Are you blind? Are you blind?
I think the first thing, I'm not mad at fake Klay. We're in the world of social media, so people do things for clout. They show guys sneaking into Super Bowls and things all the time. I'm more disappointed at the security guards at the players' entrance. Klay Thompson is probably outside of Wilt Chamberlain. Okay. Wilt Chamberlain is probably the greatest warrior ever. Is not going to change that. Right. But, and Steph Curry, but especially in this day and age, Klay Thompson is a franchise player. This is somebody that you're paying almost $200 million to, right? This is Klay Thompson. And you're telling me that the security guards in the front of Chase Center in that entrance did not know who Klay Thompson was, and they felt like, hey, Klay. Then they say, hey, Klay, we got to get this dub tonight. This guy does not look anything like Klay Thompson. I can understand all light-skinned people look alike, but I get you, right?
Yeah.
But he does not look anything like Klay. So if anything, I get, the security team banning him for impersonating the employee, but he didn't impersonate anybody. He just had his Warriors jersey on, which the security should have known because the players don't walk in with their uniform on in a hoodie. Right?
Thank you.
And so he didn't impersonate. You let him through.
No, you thought he was. You thought he was. Klay.
But he didn't. But he didn't say I was Klay Thompson. Do you know who I am? He just walked through with a cameraman, and y'all let both of them through. And he makes it to the floor and shoots some shots. And then you have the security lady come in and say, hey, do y'all got credentials? Because obviously she know who Klay Thompson is. And she say, hey. And then you got somebody that's in the tunnel say, hey, I'm going to take a picture of fake Klay. Hey, we talked on Twitter. This guy knew he wasn't Klay Thompson. Everybody knew this was not Klay Thompson except the guy that you got on the door to make sure that everybody's supposed to be everybody. So if anybody needs to be banned for life, it need to be the people that's on the door and on the metal detector because you let this guy in. They need to be banned, not fake Klay.
I agree. Whew, I love that. Sorry for you.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, another layer of absurdity is fake Klay didn't just pop up this year.
No,
we've known fake Klay for I'm guessing at least 2 seasons. I've been seeing the fake Klay come around, right? If this were to happen, say for instance in Boston when the Warriors were on the road, it would make more sense because I'd say, okay, well the Boston security maybe aren't familiar and maybe can get a pass. But how does fake Klay, who's been a regular to these games, he's been posted up at courtside a few times. Well, how are you not familiar enough to know, oh, is this possibly the fake Klay that's here all the time? That's one layer that I don't get. Another layer is if like I said, he's a regular at these Golden State games. From what I'm seeing, more than twice I've seen Fake Klay lower ball in this situation. Now they have they've always had E40 out there. They have Jay-Z courtside, like the Golden State Warriors, right? They're a hot ticket. You're going to throw away that hot ticket that if you've already had access to, you're going to throw that away just for, a 10 seconds clip on IG that
yes,
may be
Faheem,
hot now. We're talking about it, but
Faheem, he will say yes. He will say,
absolutely.
This man,
he's famous.
He's famous forever. And on top of that, I think it's interesting that you're running a security for an NBA Finals. How do you not have a person of interest, or at least a list of people to look out for that are that could potentially be you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, this security team is a whole failure. Like the head of security, because I would have think, you guys, this is a finals. You have to be extra cautious on who comes on the court. It's the NBA Finals, guys.
That's who wrote the letter. That's who wrote the letter, was the head of security to him. And like I say, I think the biggest fail, I mean, you can go to the head of security, and, I don't know if Fake Klay ever attempted to go through the entrance. That's probably his first time and saying, hey, I'm about to infiltrate. But if I'm Klay Thompson, I think it's just really time for me to go ahead and leave Golden State. Because if the guys that are working the front door do not know who I am, like, dag, I know I've been out for 2 seasons, but I won, 3 championships here. I played in 5. I'm game 6 Klay. Listen, I shoot. I'm a splash brother. I know Jordan Poole is coming up, but I'm a splash brother. Jordan Poole's his last name is Poole because of me and Steph. He had to make the water reference work. And you telling me that a guy can walk in that looks nothing like me? We just both light skin.
Just light skin. That's it.
And then y'all say, "Hey, Klay, go get the dub."
Like, are they even the same height? Like,
I don't even think they're the same height. But it's like the security guard inside knew who it was, but your people on the door did not know who it was. Klay, it's time to go, man. Listen, Klay, come over here with LeBron, man, and we'll send Westbrook up there to Golden State.
Clearly, Derek's a Lakers fan. Clearly, Derek's
I'm a LeBron fan.
Clearly,
I'm a LeBron fan.
Because only LeBron fan would ever say stuff like that. Send Klay up to the Lakers and Westbrook. Come on now, they ain't doing that.
Give us Bron. Hey, I mean, give us Klay, man. Y'all, they don't appreciate Klay in San Francisco.
I want to send a quick shout out to Fake Drake. He's showing you how to be a fake impersonator and doing it well. Fake Drake apparently he's performing. Last time I checked, he's getting $5,000 for a performance to be Drake. He's seeing his moment, and I guess Fake Klay and Fake Drake are very much the same. Neither look like, they vaguely look like the person they're impersonating, except Fake Drake is not getting banned. He's being accepted and doing interviews, while Fake Klay has just written himself out of history. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? What is it with these light skin? Like, I don't want to have the light skin conversation.
The same thing. I was saying the same thing.
What is it with these light skinned men that want to impersonate people that are alive? They're alive, guys. They're alive. Why are we? I mean, I remember Fake Kawhi in Toronto. That was a thing. I remember him at the parade. But there's 2, Fake Klay, now Fake Drake. I just can't, guys. And they're paying him $5,000 for him. That's absurd. That's absurd. Absurd part 2, Derek.
I'm just trying to figure out who I look like, because if I can get $5,000 just to, just appear and just pop up somewhere, I'm with it. So I'm just, I'm about to go and probably, they got the Instagram thing where you can just go and scan your face. They tell you what celebrity you look like.
Right.
So I'm about to go and see, who favors me a little bit, who I favor. If I get my eyes a little bigger, man, I might try to be the fake Bobby Portis or something like that. We got this thing going on. So, I might do the fake Bobby Portis. They tell me I look like The Rock a little bit, with my muscles and everything too. So, I might step in and do some impersonations for The Rock. I get a little Idris Elba, from time to time.
Okay.
As well. Yeah,
If you want to pay Derek $5,000, please email.
I get Joe Budden. I get that all the time.
You get Joe Budden, really?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I'm like, okay, sure.
I've gotten a few, but I won't say it on the podcast. I'll tell you guys offline.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to get those fans come after me.
Hey, I was just telling you, I'm just, these muscles, man, Janelle, it's just hard being a guy, man, with, these 27-inch pythons, you can't really see them too much, 27-inch pythons and everything. But
yeah, it's hard, but you're making it look easy, Derek. You're making it easy, man.
It's hard looking like the Rock, man. Rock, you need to pay me as well, man. I need, all this, because, I'm the better looking one, but, Rock, shout out to the Rock.
Shout out to the Rock. All right. So, Nelly, I say let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, that was episode 96.
96.
Ooh. So, guys, as you know, we're winding down, and Derek, as our special guest, we love to give you the chance to give your people a shout out. So the floor is yours.
All right, shout out to the 94 Feet family, guys. None of this would be possible without the 94 Feet family. So, Cam, man, appreciate you for being the brainchild. Rav, Maul, definitely appreciate y'all. Pops, what's up, Pops? Hey, man, get everybody up, popping with Pops in the morning. Everybody that comes through the 94 Feet podcast, man, and show love. Nelly, we appreciate you for being, a constant supporter of 94 Feet. And, we look forward to doing big things. And, man, just everybody, man, just shout out for everybody, man. Just, being able to come together, especially, Nelly and Faheem, y'all platform, open the doors, and just working together, run sports as well. Everybody that is just really, come together, and just bring so much from 94 Feet. I just look at 94 Feet as just a melting pot. And I'm just seeing people just crossing over and being able to help everybody. Rand Pat, Ivory, B Chill, Quinn Cook, all the brothers that come through there as well. Like I say, the Coach D's of the world, the Ian's, Ian Sports Scouts that just really give so much information. Even though we get heated in there in our debates, definitely appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to Checkmate Sports as well, Edward Davis and all the guys that have come through there, man. We definitely appreciate him. Like I say, he's been so, very, very inspirational to me. And the Squad Up family, man, definitely love y'all, man. And definitely pushing financial literacy and making sure that people get their money right, especially in 2022, we got to make sure we get our money right, understand our money, because now the information is available and it's no longer an excuse. And so, we just want to keep pushing the culture forward, man, and just really just succeeding and showing that we're not just as good as anyone, but we can be better than anyone as well. And so definitely appreciate you all's platform and give me the opportunity to get on.
No, wow. I love that shout out. I'm like, it was amazing. And girl, if Derek forgot your name, don't get mad. Okay.
Don't get mad.
Don't get mad at
me.
Please don't get
blame
mad.
It on the brain, not the heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it, Janelle. I told him, man, I'm moving to the 6. I'm about to be the new 6 guy. I identify as Drake now.
So Derek is so funny. Okay, so I'll give my shout out. My shout out to you, Derek. Someone who always has a positive vibe. I rarely ever see you in Clubhouse or anywhere like down or negative or annoying. You're always like a positive energy. Even when you're upset, you're always making a joke. Like you're just someone that is always emulating great vibes. So thank you for always for accepting me, the only I think Canadian girl in that room sometimes. So appreciate that.
And Broncos fan.
Broncos fan. Yes.
Absolutely.
But no, thank you for coming to the podcast. And guys, we're gonna have all this information, like the links to his companies, everything. So if you want to learn more about what he's doing, please reach out. Let's network. Let's connect. It's all about bringing us together as people, as a community. So thank you, Derek, for all the work you do. Okay. My second shout out, I should say, is to Serena Williams. It was announced that my girl Serena will be playing in the Wimbledon, y'all. And it's been a year. Okay. So I'm excited for her to her debut. I love watching her. So I'll be watching it. I don't expect her to win, but the fact that she's coming back into the tennis world, like we've missed her. I'm sorry. Like it's been good, but I miss Serena. I miss Serena playing. So I'm happy, excited for that. So shout out to Serena Williams. I wish you all the success and the best and health as you embark
that's my wife.
On your. That's your wife?
Yeah, you see, so Derek Williams.
Oh, that's Serena true, Williams. Serena Williams.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm like Ray J, man. I was first, you know.
So big up Serena. I'm passing it to you, Faheem.
Oh man, Derek, you're a joke. All right, so appreciate you coming through. Shout out to Derek. and your 94 Feet podcast. Definitely want to big you up. I was really impressed by the For the Culture segment. You really, like I said, both sides, sports, financial literacy, just community itself. So I want to big you up with that. Also want to send a quick shout out to Fred VanVleet. The NBA draft is coming up, and Fred VanVleet, he's doing a lot of things. But one thing I did find out that he is, when he was, the draft combine, he worked out for 18 teams over 30 days. So it's a little bit of inspiration for people where in 30 days, he did 18 different teams. And as we know, he went undrafted, so no one picked him up. And here he is now, still thriving in the NBA. So it's still something that, if the door gets slammed in your face, always seek another opportunity, keep it moving. So shout out to Fred VanVleet with that.
Bet on yourself.
That's right. Bet on yourself, no doubt. And on that note, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, that was episode 96. So guys, if you had a good time, if you enjoyed yourself, like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We are on all platforms if you're looking for us. That's Good Rookies Podcast, episode 96. Derek, we appreciate you, man. And we out.
God bless and all the stepdaddies. God bless and all the stepdaddies.